There's Grover going to Gehrig. The matchup that we expected was Hudson and Pavlich, and it looks like McFarlane has gone to Rivalry. So matchup's expected.
We're underway here at the Telstra Dome in this big match. The winner will be in the 8th. And umpire letting it go, but we'll get a bounce.
It's going to be these midfield matchups, though, that are going to set up this game. To be able to give the drive to their forward line, each midfielder will want to get on top.
Warnock and Clark go at it. Clark wins it down, taken by Solomon. He was outstanding last week against the Bombers. Spills to Hayes. Lenny Hayes is away. Drives it deep inside, attacking 50. Gehrig couldn't control it, but was able to get it across to Voss. Out to the dangerous Milne. Milne well tackled by Hayden. Was he held too long in the tackle? Yes. Just a fraction too long. Hayden held.
Thanks. Solly, Fraser, thanks.
Milne in the tackle. There he is dumping him. Ball was nowhere near Stephen Milne. And an opportunity here, as I mentioned a few moments ago, hasn't kicked a goal in the last couple of games he's played against the Dockers.
This is a big kick. Your first kick can set up the side.
So Stephen Milne, 12 goals 4 from set shots so far in the season. So he's been very accurate from 45, right at the edge of his range. He got the carry. It's the post. So the Saints with the first score of the match. It's just a behind.
There's Gehrig trying to clean up. Came through and missed.
Grover gaining territory here and kicking long. Ball for St Kilda. Hayes hard at it, but he was met with a wall. And Solomon sends the Dockers forward for the first time. Murphy just putting a boot out at the ball. There's a push in the back too. And Peter Bell can line them up at the other end of the ground. The two pocket battleships both having the first shots at goal for their teams.
Significant matchup there too. Harvey and Bell. Obviously Harvey wants to get that matchup, and Bell's taking him straight to the forward pocket.
Wasn't a good tackle by Harvey. Got him high, fell into his back. Clear free kick, clear goal. The Dockers have the first.
Well, that kick out has become an attacking weapon, and Fremantle were able to get over the top of the midfield, get the ball in long and strong, and Bell was playing in front and got the push in the back.
Pretty impressive too when Hayes went at the ball. He had about 3 coming the other way, and the numbers prevailed. Dockers went forward and goal.
Josh, go into him again. I'll pay a free. Just stand there. Don't know. No, I've warned you. I've warned you, Josh.
So umpire McBurney laying down the law of the land very early in this big game at the Telstra Dome. And Peter Bell, the first goal of the match, he's kicked 26 now for the year. His best return since 1999. Clark
free kick.
Jumps into Warnock. Advantage call to Solomon. And off to Hayes. Will be inside attacking 50, and Tarrant's got it. This has been a bright start, this from Fremantle. And Chris Tarrant will kick from 50 metres. And well, he's had his fair share of problems as we watch it again on replay. Free kick. He'll need to kick it from 50. 22 goals, 18 from set shots. Hits it reasonably well, but it's offline. So 1-1 plays, 1 behind, early stages.
Well, Fremantle are setting the standard early. Carr getting into Montagna. That's what he's been able to do the last couple of weeks, is really get in the heads of the opposition.
The umpire's liberal with the whistle. 4 free kicks given inside 2 minutes of playing time. Saints work it around Gilbert. Now Harvey running away from Bell. And this is a good move. Burst giving it off. And Montagna from a long way. Now there's a whistle. It hit the post, so he'll get a free kick.
It was silly play because Montagna got rid of it. And Josh Carr, very late, pushed him right in the middle of the back. And you'll watch it here. Unnecessary. And good umpiring.
Can't be down the field.
Well, it should be down the field. It was late. It was clearly late. So it should be relayed.
The umpire's suggesting that the ball hit the post, so it's got to come back to Montagna.
But that means he's disadvantaged because it scored.
But it didn't.
Surely it should be taken up in front of goal. Has he got the carry? I reckon he has. And he gets a just result. St Kilda's first goal. When in any other circumstance, Chriso, for a late tackle, the free kick is relayed. But so just because the ball is scored, why should the free kick not be relayed?
Well, because the ball didn't land in the field of play, and therefore it's got to come back for where it was kicked. Where are you going to pay the free kick down the field from?
Well, the law is an ass.
On the goal line, guys. On the goal line.
I think they got it right.
Just win the footy, guys. That's all you got to do. Just win the footy.
So that Montaigne's tied it up here. Undisciplined stuff from Josh Carr, just going overboard there. Umpire McBurney restarts it. Clark wins it decisively, charging through Del Santo, wrapped up immediately by a couple of tacklers. Carr.
Free kicks in Kilda.
Yeah, it wasn't a great tackle, it was high, so Del Santo to take it. Solomon at the base of the pack. In fact, it's got. So it comes out to Xavier Clark, who kicks it wide. Mark taken by Ball. Ball now, no pressure, so he runs to 45 and kicks it very poorly. Scrapes it in for a behind. So
holding the man 50 metres. 50 metres.
I like how he's umpiring at the moment, McBurney. I know that he's perhaps trying to get control of this game. Well, that's essentially what he's trying to do.
Kick your nearest man.
So he's blowing the whistle, saying to the players, we're not going to stand for this behaviour during the game, and you have to be able to play by my rules, not yours.
7 free kicks, and we have had just under 3.5 minutes of actual time. So the law is being laid down in no uncertain terms. Mundy gives to Thornton, who didn't realise he was running straight into trouble and has to give it up. Del Santo kicking well with the right. The big G train on the rails, but not on the line. It's another behind. The Saints lead by 2 points.
And you wonder with the umpires whether past games have an influence in that, as we see the turnover, the great tackle. Whether they've just watched the videos recently of Fremantle and the Carr brothers and them getting in the face of the opposition. You never know.
Crowley gets it to Pavlich on centre wing. Long way from home, Matthew Pavlich. Kick is a good one. Matthew Carr in space at half forward for the Dockers. That's the prop though, nothing much on downfield with Pavlich not inside the attacking 50. He decides to kick long. Target Josh Carr in front. Good mark taken by Xavier Clark.
Well, was he pulled down? It was a close thing by Josh Carr after he'd taken the mark, gave him a tug. Hayes receives, gives to Graham. And Josh Carr's going to be interesting. The way he stood and effectively argued with the umpire as he was being ticked off at the second centre bounce was tempting fate. Here's McFarlane. And now Thornton again, a little more space than last time when he was stripped of the football. Hayes will be off to Hayden, and Fremantle work it to the bogeyman, who's being booed by the St Kilda supporters. Now, no one guarding the mark. He just works his way through a little corridor and gives to Mundy, sweeping it back to Carr. Good move by the Dockers, and here comes Pavlich. And that was too easy.
Oh, G moved well then. He covered about 80, 90 metres. And he led the once. The ball was held up. Josh Carr linked through the middle again and got on the end of this and ran into the space. Just wonderful work. Hard work got him that ball.
He's having another wonderful season. Second on the goal kicking table, just 3 behind Jonathan Brown. And a chance to grab the lead by the end of the afternoon. Been a big week for him as he's re-signed for 3 more years. Gee, they've been giving the woodwork a workout early. Saints lead by a point. Disappointing result, that.
Yeah, when you've worked that hard and you've just got to take a couple of deep breaths as he's did. But there's a level of fitness to be able to do that. Cover that distance and then kick truly.
Del Santo wide. Mark taken by Gilbert. He chips dangerously. In fact, he's coughed it up straight to Mundy. 55 from goal. Loose player at centre half forward is Josh Carr. Probably right on the end of his kicking range. Josh Carr searching for an option. Finds one. Cleverly done. And Crowley has drifted into space unattended and has marked 30 metres from goal. So, gee, a shocking mistake from Sam Gilbert.
Shocking mistake, and Josh Carr's playing a big part in this game.
Don't know who the target was there. But Fremantle, will they make him pay? Ryan Crowley to put the Dockers in front. Looks pretty good. Fremantle in front, they have 2. And it just goes to show, Vossi, you just can't afford to turn the ball over, particularly the way Gilbert did inside the forward half of the Dockers.
Well, when your defenders are encouraged to run and the midfielders are encouraged to spread when the ball is turned over, that's what happens on the turnover. You get caught napping because you've made the play.
Plenty going on early. Fremantle leading St Kilda by 5 points. Michael Vozzo sets them in motion again. There's contact. St Kilda free kick. An arm chop. Jason Blake untidy with the hand pass, but time for Montagna. Sam Fisher in support with Hayes, and St Kilda work it forward comfortably. Voss doing some holding there. And it's a free kick to Fremantle. Johnson to Josh Carr to Hayden. Nice delivery that to Mundy, who's effectively playing on a wing and having a bit of the ball in the early part. 2 goals to 1 the Dockers' way. Both teams missing opportunities. Here's Farmer, another bogey. But a brilliant and colourful player. Hazelby now. Lee Fisher's got him covered. Forces him to go defensively to Hayden. Good acceleration there, getting around Gilbert. And feeding it on, and this is a good move as Solomon pokes it forward, but in the way is Raphael Clark.
Off to Harvey, who kicks across the ground. Montagna, St Kilda's goal kicker, chips it inside to Fiora. Fiora all a little undecided, eventually loops it to Clark Suicidal, who was taken high though. Play on the call, down by Gilmore, the kick towards centre half forward, but Thornton stands and marks on his chest. Now there's a chance here for the Dockers. Matthew Carr's got a loose player, Peter Bell. He can run to 30. Peter Bell for his second, dribbles it low, and well done by Sam Fisher. And Peter Bell just misjudged the situation slightly there from 35 metres, and Fisher did well enough, given the kick was low, to spoil it through for a behind.
He was too careful. Guess the low kick feels safer. Is it easier to kick straight, Vossi?
Oh, it might be easier to kick, but when you're from that distance, 30 metres out, you've got to kick through it, get it into the crowd.
He's a man who knows how to kick the ball, but it's a different skill here to bring it back into play safely and effectively. He's forced to go defensively. Sam Fisher having his best season yet with St Kilda. Wants to be a pro golfer eventually. Perhaps a club pro, not a touring pro, but he's doing an apprenticeship at the moment. He's a decent footballer as well. Maguire gives to Xavier Clark. That was cool under pressure. Very cool. They've got to get out of it yet. Blake gives to Raph Clark. And he gives to Gilbert. Harvey running now through the middle. St Kilda using the corridor well and looking dangerous as they do it. And the delivery is good to Voss.
He has to go back and kick this. He can kick this journey quite easily. Should back himself in and go for it.
Kicked that journey with the old worn-out Sharon in the backyard over the years.
Absolutely. Between a couple of pine trees. It's about 1.5 metres apart.
Got a nice shiny new one here for the Saints' second goal. The distance is there. He's done it. And the Saints draw level.
Well, it's one area of his game that has eluded him this year is he's kicking for goal. But he is a wonderful kick of the ball, and he should back himself in more often in this situation because he can strike. It's one of his strengths. He is a wonderful kicker of the ball.
Now, St Kilda have a 3-man bench at the moment, and we can't see Max Hudgton on the ground or off it, which is not a good sign for them early.
He spent a bit of time this year doing that, missing in action.
Yes, he had a great game last week against Barry Hall. Kept him goalless. So back in the centre, well done by Blake, who's got the matchup on the dangerous Gilmore. Spills to Lee Fisher, who delivers poorly. The target was Gehrig, but Thornton read it beautifully and cut the angle to mark comfortably. Now he's got a bit of a problem. too much to go to here, but he keeps his head and doesn't panic just for the moment. Look out, here comes big Fraser. Handball's back to McFarlane. Now Peake, well done by Milne, applying the pressure. They're in trouble here, the Dockers. Thornton back to Peake. Peake chips it, and Paulie, well done Graham, got a fist in there. But Crowley got it back to Peake. He's wrapped up immediate. Wonderful pressure by the Saints, and they earn the free kick. Great example of putting the clamps on, and you love to see it in the forward 50 of a team. Shows they're switched on. Xavier Clark kicks it across the ground. Del Santo. Too far out to score this time. 65 from goal. Decides to kick wide. Hayes is loose at half forward. Wants to go and does. Gets around Crowley. Now confronted with a problem. Bell stripped him of the footy. Hayes does well to get it back. Handball towards Milne. He tried to gather it, and eventually the umpire calls for it. No. Free kick, they heard it against Stephen Milner. It'll come back, I think, to Josh Carr. Yeah, Josh Carr's got it. Half back for the Dockers.
12th free kick of the game so far, just beyond the halfway point of the first quarter. Monday now for Fremantle. It has been a feisty start, as you'd expect, between these teams. They have a bit of history. McManus goes backwards because Pavlich was there, but he's well tackled by Lee Fisher, and Fisher wins the free kick for an unsatisfactory disposal by Pavlich, and Fisher goes for Del Santo. St Kilda just growing in confidence, one suspects. Stephen Milne working more up the ground this year under Ross Lyon. Revolt hasn't really had many opportunities yet. McFarlane buffeted him out. Murphy sloppy. Thornton, handed it back to him. Murphy again. Thornton again. Fremantle under pressure here. Good tackle, Gehrig.
Oh, great
pulverising tackle, and it is holding the ball.
It was like he was on the ropes, jumped off the ropes and body slammed him. Strength.
As Gehrig runs around and he kicks the goal. The Saints lead.
Well, opposition teams have got to be aware of what Fraser Gehrig does. He does it every time. He will take off, and the Fremantle players are busy arguing with the umpires. We look at the tackle again. Wasn't it a beauty? But as the Fremantle players are arguing with the umpire, Fraser, what's this? Two Fremantle players there, turns around, gains 5 metres, kicks an easy goal.
And you're right, Chris, so he does it every single time.
Just on the tackle, I mean, Gehrig clearly held the ball to Thornton. Thornton wasn't even holding it. Once upon a time, you weren't penalised for that. It's pretty tough on the ball player.
Yeah, no doubt. Bit lucky there, I reckon, the Saints. Cook's got it in the selected side in place of Byron Shammer this afternoon. Of course, Justin Kazitsky missing for the Saints. He was replaced by Matthew Clark. So, secondary bounce, Blake and Gilmore. Socket off the ground by Graham. Foot race. Couple of speedsters there, Peake and Graham. Well done, Graham. Got to keep your feet here. Well done, Mundy. He didn't, but he was able to knock it back towards McManus. Coming through with aggression was Bell. McManus, Cook, dubious looking handball. Put Farmer under the pump, but he goes back and retrieves the situation. Well played, Troy Cook. Off to Hayden. Now Crowley at half-back, delivers beautifully. Gilmore can set something up here, Daniel Gilmore. Clever little handball, sets Farmer away. Kicks it short on the lead. Yes, beautifully done to Tarrant. And Tarrant will kick from 50. Worked it out pretty well. Tarrant has already had a shot as we watch the Farmer kick come in again. He's had a shot from 50 and just missed to the left. Needs to get his confidence up early, Chris Tarrant. Comes in from 48, drop punt. He's again just leaking to the left. So he's second behind of the afternoon.
And he's done that twice, and just watching his technique there, the reason why he's doing that is he's walking in that direction.
Now play on as Hayes has run wide of the mark. Harvey, his sixth sense there saved him from awful trouble. Dockers still there in numbers, but St Kilda hold up. Baker, Maguire and Harvey get them off the hook, and it's a well-controlled kick from Harvey. McFarlane doing well so far on Revolt. Hazelby gives it to him, but Xavier Clark steals it. Willing contest this. It is game on. as we expected it would be, with a place in the top 8 on the line. St Kilda and Fremantle really going at it. Nick Revolt without a stat so far. McFarlane doing the job. There's a stat, but it's a hit out straight to the opposition. McManus getting it off. Now Thornton and Fremantle are away as Gilmore pokes it to Pavlich. Cook, the late inclusion, back to Pavlich. Pulled off the kick. Bad bounce for Farmer. McManus, their only hope in there. St Kilda with the numbers, and the Saints get the free loop ball.
Let's get down to Christie with an update on Max Hutchison. Christie.
Max Hutchison has just returned to the St Kilda bench with an ice pack just below his hip. He did run off the ground, obviously. Hopefully he may have done something minimal and be able to come back on, but with the ice, you'd doubt that.
Mills kick inside attacking 50 is chopped off by Thornton. He's done that a couple of times this afternoon.
And the reason why he's doing that is Xavier Clark is going up the ground and Thornton is dropping off him.
Michael Johnson feeds Crowley, who's been busy. Got a bit of a problem here, confronted by Voss, so is able to sneak the handball away to Peake, who kicks short to Michael Johnson. Johnson, oh, just a little fancy there. Graham chopped it off. Fiora, here's a big opportunity on the rebound for the Saints. Fiora in space. Hasn't got much to go to, so it goes across the ground. Wasn't a great kick. McFarlane Revolt, well done Revolt, that's his first stat, but McFarlane outpoints him on this occasion. He's got to beat a couple and does. Matthew Carr measures the kick beautifully and finds McManus on the wing.
Works it further inside, not effectively. That might be a push in the back though. Josh Carr's weight. Jason Graham untidy with the tackle. Carr wanting the ball, or 50, or both. Is the umpire strict on that this year? The tackler falling into the back of the ball player.
Fair enough too.
Absolutely. Josh Carr just holding the kick up for McManus. So in the last 5 minutes of the opening term, St Kilda just the better of it, but Tarrant a couple of bad misses and Pavlich one also. Fremantle's situation could be better. Farmer foxing a little here, wanting Matthew Carr from a long way. It'll land in the square. Pavlich was 3rd or 4th in line. Still a chance. Bell, well done. Cook bends it back beautifully and ties it up again.
Just when the ball's been going forward into Fremantle's forward line, they just look quick and sharp and swooping on the ball. There's Bell in this instance, fed the ball out and Cook the finish, but they look really sharp in their forward half at the moment.
And the clever thinking by Farmer just to draw Matthew Carr into the game. He saw the space there, realised the opportunity, and that was the end result. Goal to Cook. No, he doesn't look happy, does he, Max Hutchison? So they'll miss him this afternoon trying to counter these big Fremantle forwards. Dockers by a point. Entertaining, tough, intense opening quarter here at the Telstra Dome. Gilmore and Blake, two undersized ruckmen go at it. McManus now. High left foot kick, Pavlich in a good spot and he marks in front of Fisher. And immediately wants to mark reset. Umpire Vozo says, let me handle that, Matthew.
Thanks, Matthew. Mark's there.
You do your job, I'll do mine.
Yep. Go back and try and slot it.
3 metres, mate.
Well, an easier opportunity he missed earlier in the quarter, Pavlich.
Well done, mate. 5 metres now.
But his kicking for goal generally from set shots has been outstanding. 52-26 for the season. So here he is to put the Dockers further in front. Strikes it pretty nicely, then kicks it. The Dockers by 7.
It was that quick ball movement from the centre there that got him this ball. McManus, just super skills, puts it out in front. I'll do the rest. Thank you very much, Matthew Pavlich.
And Daniel Gilmore having an impact also inside the centre square for the Dockers.
Carries the ball well, doesn't he?
Two goals in a minute for Fremantle, and the Dockers have a little break close to quarter time. Big clearance here. The Dockers winning it handsomely last time. Solomon working it forward, but it's stolen from Peak by Graham. And he goes long towards Revolt, who really has been beaten in this opening quarter by Luke McFarlane, and that's a big victory for Fremantle. Revolt will have to impose himself on that contest if St Kilda are to win this game. Matthew Clark rucking, Revolt climbing in as well. Ball over it for the Saints. He might have been ridden in the back. He was.
Free kick into his back.
Gee, 18 free kicks thus far in the game, and it's not quarter time. I don't think the game suffered for it. Umpires are laying down the law. Ball takes it wide to Lee Fisher. St Kilda now having to find a way into a crowded 50. Oh, Milne dropped a mark he should have taken. Hayden under siege. St Kilda tied up. Can try and set up a score from the ball up.
Forward line pressure from both sides has been fantastic in the first part of this game.
So an opportunity here for the Saints. Matthew Clark over the top.
Advantage.
And you heard the call as Hazelby streams from half-back, delivers towards Tarrant, who's out in front of Maguire. Did very well, did Tarrant. High towards half-forward. 2-on-1 in favour of the Saints here. Cook. Effort was fantastic, though. Peake concedes ground. Tarrant. Another opportunity, kick run down by Maguire. Still it's Dockers though. Peake to Bell. Great pressure from the Saints and they eventually win possessions. Rav Clark wasn't a great handball. Black tackled by Harvey. Still the umpire lets it go. Good umpiring. He'll need to call it now, surely. No, he lets it go and it comes out. Montagna. Big opportunity here for St Kilda. A couple of bounces. Runs to 50 towards Gehrig. He's got it, the big boy. Strength in that marking contest against Grover. And Fraser will kick from 15 metres directly in front.
And I love the strut back to his mark. I love it. Absolutely love it. Get out of my way.
Oh, that was all strength there from Gehrig. So as we tick down, 60 seconds left in the quarter. He'll pop it through for goal number 2. Saints back to within a point. And the aftermath of the Gehrig goal.
You got the goal, mate. Let's just get on with the game. That's all we have to do.
Now, it's good umpire by umpire McBurney. I thought he'd let it go for too long there, but he let the game go and eventually the ball spilled out. And there's the use of the body by Big Fraser.
Well, in rugby union, that's called a rolling maul. That's what it was like. The umpire let it go, which set up that goal pretty much.
Test of strength this opening quarter. St Kilda back within a point, nearing the end of a very entertaining first term. Test of strength as Gehrig outmanoeuvred or out-physicaled Anthony Grover to take that mark and kick a goal. Warnock kicking it backwards for Fremantle, but McManus gets to it, dropped what he should have taken. Finds Hazelby, Mundy. Good pressure coming from the Saints here though, as Fremantle bring it clear through Black, who of course played for St Kilda in an earlier incarnation. Pavlich was pushed. Bring it back, you don't want to give away 50 there. Pavlich on the edge of range here, maybe just beyond, with the man on the mark outside 50. Sam Fisher chopping the arm.
And hand in the back.
So, dying seconds now. He might have to kick this really to give them any chance. There's not going to be a play beyond this kick. They lead by a point unless someone can mark it. It is quarter time and the opening term's been a beauty at the Dome. Fremantle by 1 point.
If it's in that region.
So Fremantle by 1 point. Second term is underway. St Kilda first use of the ball. Free kick if they want it, they don't. Gilbert puts them into the 50. Revolt with 2. Gee, there's a big focus on him from the defence. And he's down and hurt. He's not moving. Oh dear, that is a sorry sight for St Kilda. There was movement. That's a better sight. Peake under pressure. Now Solomon as Fremantle rebound and build. Revolt up. That looks much better. but Pavlich has the ball and can line them up for the Dockers.
We can't stop this ball movement, but it's this one that we've been watching since it happened. The attack in the air by Grover.
Gee, it was
really
fantastic,
took the wind out of Riewoldt. I mean, look at his eyes on the ball. He doesn't take his eyes off the ball. That's what you expect your champions to do, but he does it time and time again.
Grover's coming off as well.
That's interesting. He's come out second best. Might have hurt his arm. From 50, Pavlich misses, and the Dockers lead is 2 points. Boy, the heat is on here, isn't it? What a contest that was. That could have telling consequences in this match and beyond.
So Graham at fullback. Michael Johnson's all mix-up. Michael Johnson's gone back onto Gehrig. Gilmore, good handball to Bell, but he was under pressure. Hayes off to Maguire. Oh, brilliantly tackled, and he's been penalised. Great stuff that from Jeff Farmer.
I'm in charge, Jeff. I'm around, Jeff. Step zero. That's it.
Just laying down the law there, umpire Ellis said that was a great tackle, wasn't it? Pinning the arms, not allowing Maguire to dispose of the football.
Wonderful. That's what you want your little forwards to do. Have got speed. Get after the opposition, make the tackle.
So Jeff Farmer directly in front will need to kick it 50 metres to extend the Fremantle lead. High. Drop punters have got the carry. It's offline in any case. Through for behind. Quickly down to Christie.
Yeah, Grover came off just heavily winded. He's just done a couple of warm-up laps, so he'll be right to come back on shortly.
Well, that's not so dire as I was forecasting. Graham for St Kilda. Fremantle wasting a couple of opportunities at the start of this term. Now Aaron Fiora for the Saints. And Fisher, Sam Fisher. Riewoldt attempts to work his way into this game will be fascinating. Such a great and courageous champion as he's shown a moment ago, but McFarlane and Grover have done a very good job so far. Carr here, Josh Carter, Hazelby as Fremantle press again. Well, what a poor kick that was. Sam Fisher for St Kilda has a couple of targets, just decides to buy some time and then go to Gilbert, and the Saints can set up and bring it out without risk now. Fisher again, or with minimal risk anyway. Harvey calling for it. Robert Harvey turns 36 next Tuesday, playing game number 358. Fiora once more for the Saints, building slowly here. Riewoldt leads, and he needs to get a feel of that footy, but it just won't find him. Now he does.
Steady up, Josh.
Tarrant is in the back line at the moment on Montagna. It's been a change of match up there.
So Nick Riewoldt just for possession number 3. And he chips it inside to Fisher, not 15. So Fisher does well, gets away from Mundy. Thumping kick towards full forward. Hayden couldn't quite. Oh, Voss was held without it. No free kick. Thornton. Now Big Fraser. Hard up against the line. Tries to bring it back to a central location. In from the side. Clark couldn't take it. Thornton, wild sort of handball, puts Mundy under the pump. Oh, good tackle though on ball, and we'll get a bounce 45 metres from the St Kilda goal. There he is, the champ. McFarlane's done a very good job so far. Del Santo wins it wide to Mill. Thought about sharing it with Graham, took too long. That's brilliant stuff from Solomon. And Dean Solomon, who has number 7 in the competition for number of tackles in season 2007. And he was at his best last week. He's had 4 tackles already today. Called to play on, so, well, gee, it wasn't a great kick. Raf Clark with the sit, but hands in the back. So, free kick to Murphy. Inside the centre square, Michael Johnson's got it for the Dockers.
Poking it on, but not getting an immediate result as Xavier Clark attacks it. Gehrig up in midfield. Oh, magnificent from the G-train, like a ballet dancer. Gives to Fisher and to Riewoldt. Well, what inspiration from Twinkle Toes Gehrig. Now Mill, long ball. Can they make something of this? It's one-on-one. Raf Clark, well contained by Black. Blake though to Voss for his second. He misses. More woodwork. Margin is 2 points. Christie.
Luke Ball has just limped off, and he is getting his right quad just above his knee strapped up. So more bad news for St Kilda.
Black from fullback. Gee, wasn't it a great kick? St Kilda have got a couple of numbers at the fore. In fact, Dockers now a wave through Bell off the peak. Mark missed by Rivalry. Now Solomon from the wing delivers towards Farmer. Great fist in there by Baker. Looked out of position, but great closing speed. Hayes sees it over. Boundary throw in half forward for the Dockers. Well, initially, a kick from Black wasn't great, but two St Kilda big men flying for the mark muffed it, and the Dockers did have numbers at ground level.
It doesn't look great for Luke Ball. Big bandage on the thigh. Matthew Clark classically to Hayes. Bad bounce for everybody there except the streaming Fiora. Now Xavier Clark. Saints again slicing through the corridor to Gehrig, who has a look but decides, no, it's my job.
Interesting matchup. McFarlane's done a great job on Revolt. Now he's gone to Gehrig, and I wonder whether that might just allow Revolt some space, and you just wonder about McFarlane's ability to curb Gehrig in the touch that he's in this afternoon.
And I'm still picturing Fraser in a 2-2 at the moment.
Oh, yes.
As a ballerina.
He's got the gleam in his eye today. He's the only multiple goal kicker so far, and right now he has 3, and he has the Saints in front.
He can stop one, but he can't stop the other. Rearwald has perhaps had a quiet game so far. He'll work his way into the game, but it's been Gehrig that has been the difference. He's kicked 3 now. He has been enormous in the first part of this game.
And good news for the Dockers. Anthony Grover is back on the ground to take up his post on Gehrig. Luke Ball trying to prove his fitness to get back onto the ground. Looks like a heavily corked thigh.
You just get the feeling that Fraser's in one of those moods, don't you?
Certainly is. Grover back on Gehrig. As this bounce occurs, Warnock ineffective. Fiora's been busy. Good handball. Allows Del Santo to run right up the middle of the ground. Del Santo runs to 45. Drop punt is good. Great goal. Saints out by 10 points. Biggest margin in the match. And showing all his class there, Nick Del Santo.
Well, we talk about the high mark. As you know, the great goal. That was a great goal, but being able to see a midfielder run through the middle of the ground, carry the ball with a bounce, break the 50 and kick a goal, that is truly skillful. Nick Del Santo can do that time and time again.
So, St Kilda doing as Fremantle did late in the first quarter, kicking 1 goal and then getting another from the centre, and they're away again. Clark to Hayes, off the instep was clever, and Xavier Clark can go back and think about it.
Straight out, Xavier, marks there.
A lot of Clarks out there today, with Matthew, the late inclusion, replacing Justin Kajitsky, joining the brothers Xavier and Raphael.
Go closer, thanks, Matthew.
Gee, the midfields are playing a big part in this game.
Now, can the X-Man from outside 50 really give St Kilda a roll on here? I reckon he can. It's a beauty. And it's the Saints by 16 points. Three goals in a couple of minutes to St Kilda, suddenly taking control at the centre clearances.
And that was a shank of a kick. Thornton is dropping off. Thornton is dropping off Xavier Clark. That's why he was free. But the midfield battle is very, very interesting at the moment. St Kilda on top.
Well, St Kilda might be in the lead, but as far as injuries go, they are doing it tough. Max Hodgson on the bench and out for the game, and Luke Ball has a corked quad muscle. He's desperately trying to work through it and stretch it to come back onto the ground, but at the moment he's still off.
Pavlich inside the centre square. Umpire McBurney calls for it.
Thanks.
St Kilda have kicked the last 4 goals in the game and 3 in the last 2 minutes. Just to steal a little break here on the Dockers. Real test of their character and strength. Matthew Clark decisively towards half forward. Mundy, always awkward when you're running back to your defensive goal. Michael Johnson slipped the handball to McFarlane, who delivers out wide to Warnock. Just need to regroup here, the Dockers. Black switches the play. Hayden, very creative. Out of defence. Oh, it's a high kick. Does it get to its intended target? Yes. Michael Johnson. Loose player inside the centre square. Grover, good to see him back. Delivers out wide. Solomon's got it. 60 from goal. Brings it back towards Josh Carr, and he just lost Graham momentarily. Graham was more concerned about where Josh Carr was going to run to rather than watching the ball. Josh Carr had eyes for the ball and was able to slip Jason Graham, and will kick from 40 metres directly in front as we watch it again.
Well, one of Josh Carr's real strength is he'll keep you honest in the forward half because he is a goal-kicking midfielder.
They need this, the Dockers. Carr kicks, and does it hold its line? No. Gee, that's the goal they needed. 8 marks to 4 inside attacking 50 in favour of the Dockers. So certainly controlling things in the air, but they trail by 15 points.
They've had a number of misses from gettable set shots that they might rue. St Kilda's football.
Thanks, Chris. Hold it there, Chris, hold it.
15-point lead.
Thanks, Jeff.
Raphael
Hold
Clark.
it there, Jeff, you're right,
Nowhere
Jeff.
to go here.
Right.
Farmer
Move it on.
not going to let him sneak out of there. Clark placing the kick carefully and did it well. That's with Sam Fisher. Saints opening a little gap here. Was 16 a moment ago, the biggest of the match so far. First time there really has been more than just a speck of daylight between them. Fiora trying to knock that ball on for St Kilda. Voss stuck over it here. Oh, and he's been pinged.
Just dived on it, Bell's kick.
What do you reckon,
Just
Big Brother?
dived on it, Brett, no choice.
I just don't agree with the rule that an opposition can hold it in there and you get pinged for it. The ball player still must have some encouragement to go and get the thing.
Thanks, Matthew.
They've given 25 free kicks. I reckon free kicks are good as long as they're given to the right player and they encourage ball-playing football.
Stay up, Brett, go with him.
McFarlane
Go
now
with him, yeah.
for Fremantle. Been very good on revolt so far.
Play on.
Everyone on one side of the centre here as the Saints have got back in numbers. Baker subdues Farmer, did it well. Farmer had almost taken that mark. Baker stole it. Sam Fisher with not much forward of him, so he bangs into space. And Roger Hayden attacked the ball as though his life depended on it and delivered well to McManus.
McManus now up quickly. He's got a loose player at half forward. Matthew Pavlich will measure it. No, he goes into the pocket. Good kick. Mark taken by Josh Carr. Thought about just a moment of going on with it after Raph Clark overcommitted, but he decided to be conservative and go back for his second shot at goal within a couple of minutes. Set shots. There you go. 5-1 versus 3-5. This is a lot harder than his shot he had a few moments ago. Improves the angle, tries to pull it back, but kicks across the face and scrapes it in for a behind. So a couple of misses there to Josh Carr.
Well, St Kilda are getting a lot more bounce off half-back, but it's through the middle of the ground with their midfield. They're winning the contested ball. They're really spreading out the space quickly, and they're testing the Fremantle opposition's leg speed. And it's them being able to get the ball forward to Fraser Gehrig, who's finishing off the work up forward.
Having made that break, though, St Kilda are now finding Fremantle lifting the intensity, and the Saints for 2 or 3 minutes have had trouble bringing it out of their back half. Matthew Clark in front. There was a Shepherd at the back, and McManus will take the free for Fremantle, who badly need to kick the next goal, and they're working hard to that end. And that's a good pass to Farmer. Again, he's out near 50. He was trying to play on. Oh, gee, that's tough. He was trying to break.
Oh, my God.
I'm not sure what Stephen Baker could do. Did he just have to let him go?
You're kidding.
It's a certain goal. Farmer bangs it home. The margin is 8 points. Tell us about it, Vossi.
I can't. Silence is better.
Well, let's watch it again closely. Now, Farmer gets up here as if he wants to go.
Thing is, he's behind the mark, and that's the point. That's why he's got the 50. But it was just no win for Baker, wasn't it?
Makes it tough. It really does make it tough.
What more can you add to it?
So, what's he meant to do in that situation?
Let him go.
Exactly. Well, it's not really something we've been accustomed over a long period of time, and Saints fans have seen it on the scoreboard, hence the response. Back in the centre, Gilmore up against Blake. Burse going nowhere. And we'll get a secondary bounce. Gee, it's been an entertaining game. 2:27's going at it again. Gilmore takes it out. Now, what's the umpire going to adjudicate there? It almost fell into his arms, and Blake held it in. Well played by Blake. Kick out wide to accommodate Raf Clark. Mundy was superb though. Got it to Cook. Looping handball to accommodate Josh Carr. Where will he go? Into the pocket towards Pavlich. Push out there, and a free kick will go to Fisher. And Saints fans very happy with that result.
Fisher dangerous, and Farmer makes the steal, and he can kick his second in a minute. He is like lightning.
Well, Fremantle will be peppering, and they got that decision in their favour, and now they're back in this game.
Farmer makes no mistake, and it's back to 2 points the difference.
And that's where it's a bit disheartening for supporters and players alike. When you get a free kick like that, it can change the momentum of the game, and that's what we don't want. And then little things like this happen. Farmer gets on the end of it, and now Freo, they're only 2 points behind.
Good reward though, because they did lift the intensity when St Kilda slipped away.
Mark Harvey in the box. Dockers with the last couple through Jeff Farmer. 29 free kicks already in this game. The average for a match so far this season is 38. So another one there. That's 30 free kicks. Josh Carr doesn't know he's even got the free kick.
Josh Carr had a handful of his jumper.
So Carr got a couple of runners to his outside. Well done by McFarlane. Thought about giving it to Grover, and now he does. Anthony Grover's a punishing kick. Drops it on the head of Farmer, but gee, don't know about that option. As Fisher read it beautifully, left his man Pavlich and marks comfortably in the back pocket. Sam Fisher. Little chip across the ground to Fiora. This is a more effective kick. And he chips it further afield to Harvey, who marks at half back for the Saints. Hayes is running hard for him on centre wing. Wasn't the great kick. Puts him under the pump. McManus brought him down before he had the ball. The umpire says no, throw it in. St Kilda fans on the city wing aren't happy.
It's 16-14, so the numbers aren't heavily against the home team. 27s, Warnock and Blake. Revolt, third man in, brings it down. And St Kilda work it around. Blake now to Del Santo. And this is good movement. Hayes for Burse. Just got to find it and then try and get his way out of trouble. Cook in, loves the hard ball, but St Kilda pries it back. Harvey gives to Blake. Moment's respite for the Saints. Now places it in the Gehrig direction. Milne there as well. And he took a good one. And now he needs to finish it.
Well, can he do what Farmer did down the other end?
Not kicking quite as many goals this year. Had averaged 2 goals a game for most of his career. About 1.5 this year. And there's the one. And the Saints lead by 8 points.
It was the defensive pressure again of St Kilda that turned that ball over, and Milne was found on the end of it.
Great work from Robert Harvey under all sorts of pressure. Just had to improvise with his kick and managed to get it back, but to the free player in Jason Blake. So the margin, 8 points now in favour of St Kilda. And Gilmore will go at it again. 2.27s against Blake. Blake this time easily, revolt, immediately tackled by McFarlane, but was able to get the handball somehow to Del Santo. Feeds it back to Hayes and sets something up. Lenny Hayes decides just to drive it long in the Milne direction, going back. Good mark taken by Solomon. Dean Solomon coming in for his 10th disposal in a rich vein of form at the moment, the former Bomber. Out wide, McManus had plenty of time and needed it. Michael Johnson almost fumbled the mark as well. Kicks it along the line towards Grover. Kicked it poorly, out on the full. You can't afford to make elementary mistakes like that.
2 fumbled chest marks and then an out on the full.
So Del Santo now with an opportunity to send St Kilda forward. Finds Lee Fisher, who brings the ball back to the corridor. Gilbert unattended. Where will he go? Decides to drive it long. Target Luke Ball. Thornton the fist. Well played. At the full, Raf Clark, 60 from goal, feeds it into the pocket to Gehrig, who slides and marks. Now, they need to be careful here. He'll try and run round, as he always does. He's improved the angle here. He normally points at the mark and then goes.
Yeah, Cook was onto it straight away.
2 metres in front of the chairs, this side.
And this is where it makes it a bit hard. He's got to move a couple of security people out of the way to take his shot. Well done by Johnson guarding the mark there. Now he comes. Drop punt looks pretty good. It's coming back. What a goal from the big Fraser Gehrig. So St Kilda have hit back, kicking the last couple. Lead back out to 14 points. And good play from Raf Clark there. Finding Gehrig, and what a wonderful kick.
Well, Luke Ball is back on the ground for St Kilda. He's got a heavily bandaged right leg, but he seems to be running fairly freely.
Fraser Gehrig's 48th goal of the year stretches St Kilda's lead to useful proportions. He's been the key. Hazelby, though, gives Fremantle first crack at it here. And they're working hard. Gilmore, McFarlane, and Hazelby again, threading it towards Pavlich, but boy, they had plenty of numbers against him that time. Cannon in front of him, Cannon behind him, Cannon to the left and right. And it was Matt Maguire who finished up with the football. Gives to Raf Clark. St Kilda by 14 points. Late in the half. Another goal their way could give them a very nice half-time cushion. Lenny Hayes now for St Kilda as it's crowded up in midfield. Almost all the players on the ground are hovering within about 30 metres of either side of the centre.
Let him run, thank you.
St Kilda have a few up in their 50 in the far distance, as you can see, just in case they can make a quick break. Fiora is a long kick of the ball. Does he use his length here? Yes, he does. As he goes after Lee Fisher, McManus with him, so there'll be a throw-in.
Well, St Kilda are clearly trying to slow the game down, getting the game back on their terms, playing tempo football. It's cost them in the past. They haven't done it well, so let's hope it doesn't cost them now.
Blake beaten by Gilmore, but straight to ball, off a step. Wobbles it inside, attacking 50, diving attempt from Xavier Clark. Wasn't successful as Hayden clears. Gee, that's a dangerous kick, and Luke Ball chops it off. He won't kick it from there. 55 metres is probably just beyond him, particularly with that heavily strapped right leg. He kicks into the pocket to Gehrig, and somehow Big Fraser found some room and space inside a very crowded forward 50.
What a kick. Have the vision and then the ability.
Here he goes again. He runs around, improves the angle. Drop punt is close. It's straightening up. It's another one. He's kicked 5. Fraser Gehrig, 5 goals in a half of football. With still some time to improve on that. In the last 2 weeks, he's taken a combined 1 mark. So, a stark improvement now. And there he is, weaving his way through a nest of Fremantle players. Thought about going there, I think. Gilmore was in the way. Gee, his kicking's been superb.
His trademark move, willing in on the left foot. He is on fire, Fraser Gehrig. He has been the difference between these two sides so far.
Poor checking that time. They were alert to it on the previous occasion. No one bothered then. St Kilda by 20 points. 31-year-old Gehrig, who keeps making noises or seeming to make noises about impending retirement, but still has plenty of footy in him. McManus giving to Johnson. It's getting serious for the Dockers if they're to keep their season alive. 20 points down, close to half-time. McManus.
Rearwalt pushing deep too.
Where's Pavlich? He's at the end of that, but again he's got numbers against him. St Kilda working hard here, wanting to keep it in tight, not give Fremantle an easy ball, but also not wanting to get caught over it. It's ugly, it's tough, and in the end it's whistled up by umpire McBurney. The umpires earning their pay here. They've awarded 31 free kicks in under a half. Still a chance for Fremantle. Oh, Bell must get a free.
But he's still got him high.
He did indeed. He got him high. The argument is that he might have been on his way down, but you'd have to think that that was a regulation free kick against Sam Gilbert.
No matter how much he acts it up, it's high.
And Peter Bell kicking more goals this year than for most of his career. Should kick this. He slots home his second. The Dockers pull one back.
It was the right call. It was high. He did stage, but it was high. The two have to come together. And Bell kicks the goal. He steps up for his team, who needed that goal before half-time, just to stay in touching distance to this St Kilda side.
Yes, great pressure by the Dockers in their forward 50. So, margin back to 14 points. They're the free kicks, quarter by quarter. 18 to 14. 32 free kicks. Gilmore again starting to ascend his
In the back, you fella with him.
authority.
In the back.
Will suit his authority.
And that's 10-3. Fremantle's way for the quarter. That's why the Saints fans aren't happy.
And what a kick it was by Hazelby. Finds Johnson, who finds himself in the attacking 50. And he'll need to kick this 52 metres. Michael Johnson had a great year last year, runner-up in the best and fairest. Averaging 18 disposals so far in the season. Will need to be good from here. It's high. Has it got the carry? No, Blake did well to get hands on it right on the goal line. And the margin back to 13 points.
There's the push in the back. Not a lot in that. Hazelby given the benefit of it. Sam Fisher now giving to Burse, who kicks beautifully to Milne. Perfect weight on that. Xavier Clark running, providing an offer. Milne goes in the Gehrig direction. All roads leading to the G train, and he gets a free kick. Now they've got to cover him here out on the left. He has produced a phenomenal half of football, big Fraser Gehrig. A chance for a 6th goal.
Well, you almost thought Milne was too late in getting that ball in. He had the one-on-one contest, Gehrig, and he's been on fire. That's what happens. The defender becomes under pressure and makes a silly mistake.
Troy Cook guards. Gehrig hooks the kick. He was due to miss one. And that's a relief for Fremantle. He has 5-2. The Saints lead by 14 points.
That's why the Saints have to get the ball in there as quickly as they can. They now have Grover under pressure. They have to move the ball quickly, get the one-on-one contest, which forces the mistake.
Crowley's got it in the back pocket for the Dockers. Hazelby. Hazelby wide, loose player. Here's McFarlane. So here's a chance that they're going to run out of time. The Dockers, great tackle from Xavier Clark.
50.
On the ball.
Paul, no, it's
Mark's
not.
there.
Gee, was treading the fine line.
Certainly was. Xavier Clark. Now they're going to run out of time. Nick Revolt picking up some possessions in the back half.
Hey, Chris.
As the half-time siren sounds, and what a game of football we've got at the Telstra Dome. Evenly poised despite the fact the Dockers lead by 14.
Main player performing that role.
So third quarter about to get underway here. Umpire McBurney to restart play. The Saints by 14. Can the Dockers hit back? Warnock beaten by Clark. Down to Hayes. Gee, it was a great tackle coming from Hazelby. Calls the turnover. Crowley, Bell, kick towards half forward, coming out in a long lead. Mark Taken, beautifully done by Murphy. In fact, it was Mundy. Got it to Black. Handball further afield. Farmer. Back to Mundy. He can line them up from here from 50. Pulls it back and kicks a superb goal. What a start to the third quarter by the Dockers. Well, he's a man of talent, David Mundy. We know that. Involved in a couple of pieces of play here. And what about the finish?
This was almost an individual effort. That's what generated that goal. The work of Mundy got that goal. He was able to win the ball and then link up through the middle of the ground and then kick that wonderful goal.
A Freo flyer at the start of the second half, and they're away again as Hazelby gets first use out of the middle. Pavlich, though, was buffeted off it, and Lenny Hayes bangs it clear for the Saints. Rover with Revolt. Saint fans reckon there was a bit of intent about that, but there wasn't a whole lot of intent about their appeal to the umpire. We'll have a throw in.
McFarlane got the job on Gehrig at the start of this second half. Warnock takes it out, handball off to Solomon. Oh, a little kick was effective in the end. And the mark taken by Hazelby, who's been very busy at the start of this third quarter. Kick towards half forward, getting across and cutting it off. Well done by Maguire, read it superbly. And Matt Maguire, half-back for the Saints.
And now I wonder whether it's worthwhile to keep Rearwald closer to goal. Keep Grover under pressure.
Chance for Harvey, hard up against the line. He's got Xavier Clark running for him. Casual bounce and a second. Revolt tried to shepherd, missed everything, but Clark kicks towards Gehrig again. Was he held? No, the umpire said play on Milne. The ever dangerous Stephen Milne is pushed over.
That was both ways. You were going like that, he was there.
Umpire McBurney explaining the situation. There you go. So St Kilda still in an attacking part of the ground. Clark trying to get it to Milne. Matthew Clark. Chance here for Milne, who snaps cleverly, but across the face. Through for a behind. Margin 9 points in favour of St Kilda.
Said earlier he's averaging about a goal and a half a game this year. He has one goal too. One more behind and he'll be right on the goal and a half. Saints by 9 points. Johnson playing to himself and then goes long and down the middle. Solomon buffeting Fiora out, but they're not winning the ball. Gilbert does to Hayes, to Voss, and Gehrig is one out. He's got it again. He is absolutely on song. Can do no wrong today.
And just with Michael Johnson taking the kick out, he was the one that found himself with the quick ball coming back, manned up against Gehrig. I think the ideal solution is to have McFarlane there.
Yeah, the body strength and the kick was just above his head. Let him work into it. He's big and strong.
He's had 2 6-goal hauls for the season. He now has a third, and there might be more to come for the G-Train.
You do get that feeling today, don't you, with Fraser?
Well, he's just so powerful, and when he's in this sort of mood, he's so hard to stop. And as I said, Michael Johnson was the man who found himself standing Gehrig. McFarlane's got the job in the second half. So not a great matchup from Fremantle's perspective. Fraser Gehrig, 6 goals. And just brute strength there, getting rid of Michael Johnson, who had hold of his arm, but he was able to pull it clear. And Mark Harvey, a couple of concerns. Margin back out to 15 points. It was 14 points at half-time. Bounce favours Warnock. Oh, he gave it straight to Matthew Clark, who's been pretty good today. Grover gets rid of Hayes. Shovels it out towards Hazelby. Now Matthew Carr feeds it back. Crowley further back to Bell. Look out. Good chase by Harvey. Thornton, Bell. They're very sloppy at the moment. The Dockers. Crowley's wrapped up. What's the umpire going to do here? Give it to me, he says. Bounce 48 metres from St Kilda's goal. Gee, it's been impressive, the St Kilda pressure around the contest.
All day it's been like that.
Getting numbers and really stifling a Fremantle Dockers flow and run. Warnock again against Clark. Montaigne a chance. Well done by Hazelby. Josh Carr. Xavier Clark ducked ahead. Very tight. Umpire letting it go. Eventually he has to call for it. Bounce 40 metres from St Kilda's goal.
And look, we normally see congestion in the forward line of these stoppages, but around the ground, I think it's been St Kilda that have been prepared to get numbers around the contest more than usual.
Saints' third quarter's good lately. Farmer, quick hands there. It was well done. Josh Carr just pumping it on in hope. Good shepherding there for Baker, but oh, tremendous effort for Fremantle by Crowley, who had 2 against him, but still St Kilda prevail. Hayes gives to Burse.
That's it, Heath on the line.
Just beyond range out on the flank. And outside 50, puts it in just the right spot for Revolt.
Keep him under pressure.
Just the right kick from Shane Burse. Revolt appreciated it. It's been a struggle for the blonde star today, but he has his chance now to give St Kilda its biggest lead of the day.
And that's why predictability is not a bad thing. Rewalt knew where that kick was going. He ran to the top of the square. He led into that spot and took this mark. And he's keeping Grover under pressure where Fraser had him under pressure in the first half.
Scoreless until now. He has a goal and the Saints lead by 21.
That's his first mark inside attacking 50s. He'll have to take a few marks in the defensive half at the back of that second quarter.
And that's where he's got to start to get a few marks now in the second half. He now has a player, I've mentioned it already, Grover, who's under pressure, and he has to maintain that pressure on him, force him into mistakes.
So St Kilda by 21 points, their biggest lead of the match. Real challenge here for Fremantle. Warnock wins it clear. It's all St Kilda. Sam Fisher, Matthew Clark, good handball into the path of Revolt, who concedes ground back to Harvey. Robert Harvey now has got time just to work through the options. Kick it to Graham. He did it beautifully. Graham now is off and away. Driving kick wide. Gehrig, here he comes. McFarlane hot on his heels. Drew a player and then gave it off to Montaigne. Now Hayes, 55 from goal, back to Revolt. Oh, gee, dubious looking handball. And McManus takes it just inside the line, off to McFarlane. Farmer, what's he doing back there? Good kick though, and he finds Mundy on centre wing. Off to Matthew Carr, delivers towards Tarrant. Wasn't a great kick and he didn't get a great bounce. Lets Maguire in. Well tackled though. Handball Montaigne. Good handball, sets Fisher away. Sam Fisher. Loose player, and they're away. Lenny Hayes has got 60 minutes now. There's a whistle here.
Fraser Gehrig.
A free kick to Gehrig and against McFarlane for holding on. Gee.
Right.
We might be in line, Vosser, here for a 10-goal bagger from Big Fraser.
Keep coming, Fraser.
At the moment, I'd say 12.
Move out, hang on, Fraser, move it out.
Well, he's kicked 6.
That's okay.
Shouldn't have any problems. He's only 15 metres. Angle reasonably acute, but it favours his left foot. He comes in for goal number 7, and he kicks it. Well, after Mundy kicked an inspirational goal at the start of this quarter, the Saints have kicked the next 3, 2 to Gehrig. Interestingly, 1 to Revolt, and the margin out now to 27 points.
It's human nature when the ball's coming in that quickly for the opposition to panic, the defenders to panic, and they do something they normally wouldn't. And that's where he's getting some of his kicks from free kicks.
Here's the live ladder. Brisbane with a game in hand, of course, against Sydney tonight, and with a vastly better percentage than St Kilda. The Bulldogs play Adelaide for one of those two to stay alive tomorrow, and Fremantle slipping out of it, as are Essendon struggling at the moment against Carlton. Ball up.
Well, to say this is a big 5 minutes in Fremantle's season would be a dramatic understatement. They need to wrestle control back here now, and they need someone to stand up right now for this side.
Matthew Clark winning well in the ruck, but Hayes can't escape.
Interesting that every time Gilmore's gone into the ruck contest, he's been matched up by Blake, but this time Matthew Clark prevailing.
And Clark winning clearly again, although not getting a result. Grover to nobody much, but Solomon makes something of it for McManus. Now Crowley. Good movement by the Dockers, putting Pavlich one out. Sam Fisher, though, did just enough. Farmer just went without the ball. And Maguire eases the squeeze for the Saints. A free kick to Revolt. A hold by Grover was Steve McBurney's assessment. And Revolt can never be underestimated. Now Montagna. And that is beautiful of Fiora, who is a good finisher most times. He missed that by some distance. The lead is 28.
Well, his kicking hasn't been good for goal on the run this year. He's kicking a lot of points for a guy that is a very good kicker of the ball.
Long kick coming out towards Solomon, and well done by Brett Voss. Got across. In turn, Grover was able to spoil and knock it over. But great turnover there from Voss, so boundary throw in. Half forward for the Saints.
Oh, I'd love to say that I taught everything that he knows, but I can't on that occasion.
Blake gets it down. Del Santo, in fact, there was Gilbert involved there. Harvey couldn't get it clear. Grover tries to fight his way through. Cart. Little handball over the top from Josh Carr. McManus, forward of the players. Bell chips it towards Pavlich over his head. Hands in the back.
Hands in the back.
So Matthew Pavlich on centre wing. Peter Bell kept running. Now this is a big chance here, the Dockers. They must kick a goal here. Drives it in low and hard, intended for Farmer, but chopping it off. Raf Clark, and 50. So things just not going right for the Dockers at the moment.
5 metres over the mark he went, and then laid a hand on him. He went 5 metres over the mark.
Fair 52.
Oh, geez, I wish I could kick it that long.
Yeah, it's about 65, 70 metres, I reckon. That penalty. So Raf Clark now called to play on. Chips it to Graham, and St Kilda can rebuild.
Jason Graham playing his 50th game, gives to Maguire, who unloads. Milne in another aerial contest with Hayden, who's probably got a centimetre or two on him. Subdues him for so long as it takes McManus to arrive. Now Gilmore, mobile, big bloke, and quick as well, and with a bit of confidence about his work. But the hand pass is not great. It is made good, though, by the tearaway Bell.
And Baker, something's up in the middle of the ground with Farmer and Baker.
Farmer's picking himself up very slowly. That will be interesting. So will this. Josh Carr just offline.
Well, Farmer was felled behind the ball. I didn't see what happened, but he was felled, and he's still in the hands of the trainers.
Oh, blood coming out of his nose or lip. Now St Kilda bringing out of defence, and the mark's taken by Fiora. Got it from Raf Clark over the top to Voss. Look out. Oh, it's a crunching tackle from Solomon. Play on's the call. And a little push. Boundary throw-in.
And he's in a bit of trouble.
And Farmer literally being helped off the ground. Oh, gee.
He was quite literally stunned.
sorts.
He was quite literally stunned in the middle of the ground then.
Doesn't look good for Farmer. And dare one say it, might not look good for whoever else was involved.
Boundary throwing. Peake thumps it forward. McManus, good handball back to Peake. Now Gilmore. Gilmore searching for Pavlich. Pavlich needs to do something here. The Welcome Fisher was superb, and now they're away. Xavier Clark, blistering pace through the centre of the ground. Where's Big Fraser? He goes towards Gehrig, getting there, and he marks. Gee, that was great stuff from Xavier Clark. Hard attacking football, running at the defence, and there's no better way for the ball to come down if you're a forward when you've got someone slicing through the middle of the ground.
It's what's been lacking in the St Kilda game over the last couple of seasons, hasn't it? Real penetration through the corridor, real speed.
There's Brett Farmer getting attended to. Fraser Gehrig has kicked 7 from 40 metres. Drop punt. Offline. His tally, 7 goals, 3.
The wheels are wobbly on the Docker ship. Pardon the mixed metaphor. Thornton gives to Solomon. And that's a good kick to Pavlich, but he's had to come a long way up the ground. Running down with the flight to give him a target as Peake. Just still a bit too far out. Maybe Pavlich will have a go. He does. Has he got the carry? Oh, it was a good attempt.
Fremantle need to hang in here. They've got a couple of minutes.
Now here's the incident involving Jeff Farmer. Now this is the best we've got. We've seen Farmer there in the middle of the ground. He's already down. There's Stephen Baker, who's been with him all day, but that's the best. It happened a long way off the ball, that incident.
Yeah, can't pass anything on without incriminating anyone.
So Montagna gets it to Graham, who kicks towards half-forward Revolt. Through his hands that time. Grover over the top to Pavlich. Touch play on due, put Hayden under the pump. Numbers with the Saints. Milne brings it back across his body. Oh, well done. Great kick. Measured it superbly to Voss. And he'll kick from 40. Gee, they're just tightening the vice, the Saints, at the moment. Josh Carr comes off for Hazelby. And that kick from Stephen Milne just beautifully measured over the top of Michael Johnson.
And he's certainly lifted his work rate the last five minutes. Has Brett. Sorry, can't call him Vossi. He's certainly lifted his work rate. And this is a big kick for the Saints.
Well, they're 27 points in front. This to make it 33. And maybe all over for the Dockers. Kick is coming back. Not far enough. Let's get down to Christie.
Jeff Farmer is on the Dockers bench. The Dockers staff looking at his nose at the moment, but more so the fact that he just doesn't know what's going on. He really struggled to walk off the ground. The trainers had to help him off, and I don't think he knows what happened to him because he's completely stunned and dazed.
Mundy for Fremantle to Hayden. And Hayden kicks to absolutely nobody. Well, he might get a result as Burse just could have gone a little harder perhaps at that ball. There'll be a throw in. Vossi just got to press you on this. Did you see the exchange between Farmer and Baker, presumably?
I did see it, and yeah, I would hope that Baker would hope there's not behind the goal footage.
Blake blazes for the Saints. Thornton with Burse. Grover, strong stuff. Thornton emerges. Peake, Thornton again. Good stuff from Thornton. Mundy, Fremantle working hard here. McManus to Black. And Peake again, his third involvement in that play. Murphy, who's been very quiet. Forward of the centre line. And he goes for Pavlich, but it's a bit predictable by now. They really are lacking a range of options up there. There's a high tackle. It's Luke Ball's free. Can I just ask you, was there some sort of jostle happening?
There was a bit of play going on, and then one finished it.
So Luke Ball's got it.
Play on.
And he chips it over the top. Mark taken by Fiora. Now Revolt. Solomon back on the ground. And chips inside the corridor, and Saints just maintaining possession here. Certainly in control. Margin 28 points. That's what is ahead of Lenny Hayes, so he decides to go across the ground to Graham. Jason Graham. Now he kicks towards Gehrig. McFarlane got in front. Chance for Harvey at the back. Milne is loose. 45 from goal. Hard up against the line. Tries to bring it back towards the goal square. Oh, it's bounced through. One of the goals of the year. Stephen Milne. Oh, he is a marvel, isn't he? He's capable of anything. And produced his very, very best there. I think he was actually trying to get it to the top of the goal square. But somehow it floated through as we watch it again.
Well, watch this. Just fantastic work. Swoops on it. I think you're right, Chris. I think he was trying to centre it. It got the floater happening. And then the shepherd on the goal line, and it floated through. But you take those. Doesn't matter how it happens. You take them.
That's as close as Stephen Milne would ever go to trying to put it to the top of the goal square.
Well, he looked there anyway.
Jeff Farmer all plugged up and hopefully regaining his senses. St Kilda press forward again. They have booted to a 34-point lead, and they are really into it now. They have the bit between their teeth. There'll be a ball up.
Thanks, Steve.
I think that Milne goal is a demonstration of why they're a dangerous team, the Saints. They have mercurial players. They can be hot and cold, but when they're up, they can do brilliant things.
Through it out, Jack. One hand. Through out. One hand.
Another St Kilda free kick. It's all come adrift for the Dockers. Blake's ball, outside 50. Put it to the top of the goal square. Milne did. He goes to Montagna.
He looked, he didn't go. Play on now.
Here's Gehrig again. That was a perfect kick.
Oh, it's a great kick. Gee, that was a great kick. What an understanding between the kicker and the leader. Fraser put the hand out. Montagna knew where the space was and just put it out in front of him. That is every forward's dream, a kick like that.
Okay, metre and a half in front of you, Luke.
Look at the arms extended to the furthest point. Great stuff from Gehrig.
Kicked more difficult ones than this today. And he puts this one to bed. He has 8 goals, 3, and it's the Saints by 40.
Well, that sign may have predicted how many goals Fraser was going to kick, not just his number. 9 is more than likely.
Fraser Gehrig has 8. Now, we've checked all the sources, all the film for this incident involving Jeff Farmer, and this is the best we've got because it was a long way behind the play. There was Jeff Farmer you saw inside the centre square, laying on the ground. We haven't got any footage of it.
Well, it'll be interesting. Presumably none of the umpires saw it either. There'll be some sort of investigation, surely. All witnesses to be summoned. Here go the Saints again. Raf Clark. Oh, the Saints are really hitting their straps here. Montagna from a long way. Surely not the G-Train again. No, not this time. McFarlane to Crowley. The Dockers are mired. 40 points down. It was 14 at half-time. St Kilda have kicked 5 goals to 1. Rather to 2 in this third term. Here's Hazelby. But there's nothing there. Sam Fisher. Gee, St Kilda are playing some good footy at the moment.
Fisher's done a great job in the absence of Max Hudson on the Fremantle superstar Matthew Pavlich, and he kicks to Blake. Off to Hayes. Just controlling possession at the moment. Baker. Reckon he might be getting a few boos if we were playing this game at Subiaco Oval. Off to Burse. And they switch the play out to Revolt. Half-back City side. Kicks towards a good lead of Lee Fisher. Out in front of Crowley. He's away. Kicks to Voss, who marks in front of his face. So methodically working it forward, the Saints. Voss decides to go to a one-out contest, although they're right on the scene and drifting up in front of the pack. Aaron Fiora, a spectacular mark. What a great leap he's got. And this to increase the lead to 46 points. All attention focused on Gehrig. And Fiora was able to drift up in front of the pack. So he's had a pretty good day and shouldn't have any troubles from 20 metres. He doesn't. And St Kilda lead by 46. Well, it's been an amazing quarter. 6 goals to 1 in this third quarter. And on a miracle now needed by the Dockers.
It sure is. And look, you don't want your players to think it, of course, but percentage now plays a huge factor. That's why the Saints need to be able to finish off this game strongly.
It's been a bad quarter for Fremantle. Jeff Farmer's been hurt. We'll hear more about that. And St Kilda have kicked 6 goals to 1 to race to a winning lead. They will have their best three-quarter time score of the season. Even if they don't score again, Pavlich has been thrown into the middle to try and spark the Dockers, and spark them he does. Can he go all the way with the spark? Well, pretty much. Josh Carr will line them up.
It's the unlikely mixture. It's normally Carr bursting out of the middle. It's a Pavlich. It's the other way round.
They have 3 minutes to try and do something before three-quarter time. And Carr starts it as they pull one back. The difference, though, is still 40 points. Josh Carr getting his first goal for the day after 3 misses. But this was the man who created it.
And as it was called, thrown into the middle, try and win the ball out of there. Just getting smashed around the middle of the ground. Carr's pushed forward, and with immediate success, a goal is kicked.
Josh Carr, 18 disposals, 6 marks, 1 goal, 3 this afternoon. Well, Dockers need a couple more goals if they can. In the 2.5 minutes or so left in the quarter. Hazelby this time. Back to Grover, who's had a tough day at the office. Out to Gilmore. Now Bell trying to inspire the Dockers. Dribbling kick gets to McManus eventually, but he had to sit and wait for it. Gets around Burse. Delivers towards half-foot. Fisher again the spoil on Pavlich. Tarrant going one way then the other. And didn't realise, I don't think, that Burse was there waiting for him as he turned. And Burse is awarded the free kick at half-back for the Saints.
Told he must go. And he takes it wide. Saints really have owned the corridor today. Been very direct, very impressive whenever they've been able. Gilbert, who celebrates his 21st birthday tomorrow, and it looks as though he might have a win to celebrate along with it. It'll be a good day for him. He gets himself into a bit of bother, but everything is turning to gold for St Kilda. And the kick off the outside of the boot does just that. And Lee Fisher can line them up.
Everything is turning their way. Even the kick off the side of the boot lands in their hands. Fends off with the don't argue. Off the side of the boot still lands in their arms. It's your day.
Lee Fisher, 3 career goals, none of them this year. And that's why. It's the Saints by 41 points.
So just 73 seconds left in the quarter. Roger Hayden. Little kick to himself. He's got to get around Gehrig and just did it. And then was able to run it to defensive 50. And McManus marks. Now Mundy. Oh, gee. They're fiddling a bit here. Back to Hazelby. Back to Mundy. Now Thornton. Bursting through the centre is Peake. Kick out wide. Target out there was Warnock. McGuire did enough to get him off the line of the football and then retrieve it. Clever kick around the body. Just a bit too much on it for Voss. And we'll get a boundary thrown between wing and half forward for the Dockers.
So in the last minute, Tremendous quarter, one of their best for the year by St Kilda. 6 goals to 2, and almost putting this beyond Fremantle's reach. Still, a goal late in the piece can have telling consequences. Heard Lee Matthews talking about it after last weekend's game, about how it really almost invariably lifts a team, can revive its flagging fortunes. Fremantle have just enough time. Peter Bell, and that's a pretty good kick for Johnson. Needed surer hands, had time though, spears the pass. Too much spear, needed a little more loft, a bit more javelin. The steal though, and a flying shot by Crowley, and it curls its way home. And the Dockers in the last 10 seconds pull one back. Well, there you go, we've called it. I wonder if it might give them the lift.
That's the window. It's just ajar for them. This is an important goal. That is not kicked, then they're almost no chance. With that goal being kicked, it just keeps it open for them. The window is still there for them.
Well, particularly when you consider that St Kilda have lost their last 6 fourth quarters, and they've scored an accumulative 10 goals in those 6 quarters. So,
yep. Well, and they also have Hudson off and Ball really struggling.
So back in the centre, Clark decisively to Montagna, off to Del Santo. As the 3/4 time siren sounds, but St Kilda perhaps have done enough. They lead by 35 points at the final change. The MCG, the Blues by 10 points. But underway here in the final term at the Dome. Well done by Gilmore. Superb, in fact. High kick off the side of the boot towards half-forward. The St Kilda defence there in force. McManus, first to retrieve the football. Well done. Lost Graham in traffic and then kicks to Pavlich, who marks low down just inside attacking 50. And he's certainly capable, Matthew Pavlich, of delivering from here. His early opponent, Max Hudson, off the ground with what we think is a thigh injury. And Sam Fisher went on him after that and has done a great job.
He's done a fantastic job.
But this, to bring the margin back to 29. The Dockers kicked the last 2 goals of the 3rd quarter as Pavlich lines up. Oh, it's a wonderful kick. Has it got the carry? Yes. Oh dear. Are they going to come, the Dockers? Margin 29. So Fremantle now, they've kicked the last 3 goals of the match. The lead got out at one stage, Michael, to 46 points.
And we're talking about that window just as 3/4 time close. And it's once again just creaks open just that little bit more. Give them some life, give them some hope, and anything is possible. Matthew Pavlich is doing everything. He's kicked the goal, gone forward, and he's now into the middle to extricate the ball.
I wonder if this is the Malcolm Blight, Darren Jarman manoeuvre. Start him in the centre because he's your best bet, and then throw him forward to be on the end of subsequent forward moves.
He's moving forward now.
Cook swinging it in his general direction with courage. Del Santo coming back, and he's got the spillage. Had to be careful with the right foot, but did it to a nicety to Montagna. Looping it over the top. Hayes pumping it. Not terribly elegantly, but getting a result. Burst gives it back to him. And now that's the placement he wants for Revolt. And there was nothing Anthony Grover or anybody else could do about that. Revolt is heading for Voss, and he's got it. And he's proving a useful cog up there.
He's been a good forward today, Brett has. Just another option. Got strong hands, as we see in this instance here against Johnson, the taller opponent. But these are the ones you have to capitalise on. You have to kick these goals when you play this role.
1 goal, 2 for the day from 30 metres. Straightforward shot, nails it, and St Kilda have a quick reply. He's battled a bit for his place this year, but this is a performance that won't do his chances for the rest of the season, and that could involve a September engagement or 2 any harm.
Sure, he went back, and has played some really good football, kicked a bag of 6 at one stage, so has brought some good form coming into this game.
Margin back to 35 as it was at three-quarter time. Cook in the centre square, wrapped up by Fisher, Sam Fisher, going nowhere, so secondary bounce.
Well, certainly the goal that Fremantle couldn't afford. They have to be able to maintain momentum and kick consecutive goals to get a chance.
Got him in the throat. Free kick, St.Kilda. Hand in the throat.
There you go. Heard it from umpire McBurney.
They have been going for the jugular, but
Blake just forward of the centre circle. Chips it out wide to Sam Fisher. So St Kilda in the box seat here. To his namesake, Lee. Where will he go? He goes back to Sam, who was able to play on and run into open space and then kick deep into the pocket. Out comes Gehrig. Oh, Hayden missed perhaps what he should have taken. Milne, a good tackle in turn by Hayden. Milne got boot to ball, and Thornton will see it over. Boundary thrown in the forward pocket for St Kilda. Shane Burse in his new club, St Kilda. He played some pretty good football at times in season 2007. Gilmore and Blake. Blake almost wins it down. Mundy feeds it back to Black. Has to kick it around the body. Gilbert, his arm over the shoulder of Crowley. Spills to Matthew Carr. Now Crowley away on centre wing. Good chase from Montagna. Kick was good though from Crowley to Tarrant. Now Matthew Carr. Now if he can kick it 60 metres. He's got Murphy inside attacking 50. Eventually gets to him. Crowley tries to keep it in. Can't. Good tackle coming from Rath Clark. And a boundary thrown at half forward for the Dockers.
so still 35 points. Pavlich the ruckman now for Fremantle, and he's going to try and be the rover, although his teammate Solomon beat him to it. Matthew Carr hoping for Tarrant, who has been pretty quiet.
Both holding each other all the way through the marking contact.
Had a couple of shots at goal early, Chris Tarrant, and really has just faded off the radar since then.
Del Santo got a long option, and the mark's taken by Rath Clark. Half back for the Saints. Del Santo, no, in fact it's Burse. So the Saints very stop-start, but they've got a big lead they can just use as a buffer. Good kick to Revolt. The third quarter when they're up and going, they were running through the lines. Haven't quite got that momentum in this final term. Wasn't a great kick, but eventually it got to Graham. Off to Lee Fisher. Well done, Solomon. Good tackle. And he's been penalised. Free kick. Saints fans not happy. Solomon. Matthew Carr can set something up here. Kicks deep into the pocket. It was a poor kick. Intended for Bell. Had too much on it. Marks taken by Rath Clark.
And Maguire, St Kilda holding up quite soundly here. There's no real hint of a threat. Good kick from Maguire for Sam Fisher. Just couldn't quite snare it from behind. Gives to Fiora. And that's a pretty good kick to Milne. They've had targets. Revolt's been adequately held, but is still dangerous and draws attention. While Milne and Voss, and of course particularly Gehrig, have made merry. Stephen Milne has 2. He has 2 goals, 3.
Let it go, guys!
And the Saints lead by 35 points.
Let it go, guys, come on!
And some ruffling of the feathers inside the centre square. Still players have each other in a bit of a stranglehold as Johnson kicks to Josh Carr.
Stay with them.
The umpires are onto it too.
Off to Pavlich. Thumping kick out wide towards Mundy. Solomon also in hot pursuit. They both got rid of Montagna and forgot about the ball. Graham's got it, but brilliantly tackled by Solomon, and he wins another free kick.
You put the ball on the ground.
And there's the explanation from umpire Bozzo. He can't put it on the ground in the tackle. He kicks towards Clark again. Target was Murphy, but Rav Clark is holding up very, very well in this final quarter for St Kilda, and he'll relieve the pressure again.
Had a lot of contributors today. It's as though they've all been finding confidence in each other, but this is chopped off. And Troy Cook, who came into the team for Shammer, kicks it in the Hayden direction, but Sam Fisher saw him coming. Hayden running out of defence, just trying to run into an opening. Brave effort, nearly got a result. Fremantle desperate for a goal, desperate for 6. Blake brings it down. Hayes, workhorse as ever. Burst well tackled. And there'll be a ball up. That's a correct decision.
That's what they've been able to do for most of the day, St Kilda. It's just cover for one another. They've had a real good team effort today.
Blake versus Gilmore. Fisher wins it out, in fact, to Montagna, who spirals it out almost off a step. Voss overruns it. Chance for Michael Johnson. Dockers with the numbers. Can he find a target? It was a shocking kick. Intended for Tarrant. Solomon was held. No free kick there. Bacon out. Handball off to Del Santo. Always cool in a crisis, Nick Del Santo. And uses it beautifully. Long kick to Revolt. Great kick from Del Santo. Now Xavier Clark inside the corridor. Clark running hard. Good chase from Josh Carr, but he lays it off to Graham from 50. Wobbles it towards full forward. It's chopped off by McFarlane. Pavlich. Now Heath Black, who runs out and kicks it to Cook, who marks it half back for the Dockers.
Black, another quiet player, former Saint, just 9 possessions. Pavlich working all over the ground. Thornton getting it off just in the nick of time, but it's St Kilda applying the pressure. Johnson besieged. Good stuff from the Saints. That's a high tackle by Black. Fiora's ball for the Saints. None of the signs good for Fremantle. Their season is just about on the rocks. That's a lovely kick with Raff Clark running forward. Oh, he needed to mark that run on and just about close this out. He made a mess of it, and they've given it up. Fremantle with the numbers. Peake comes away with 15 metres up his sleeve, but he's got nothing to kick to. Now he's finally given a call from Tarrant, who's had just 3 kicks and scarcely been a contributor. Crowley up under pressure from Montagna, a trainer and a runner. That's how it's been for the Dockers.
No, he was away here too, wasn't he? Raff Clark could have run into the open goal. Boundary throw in. Warnock over the top of Blake.
Knees in the back against you, Josh Carr. Knees in the back, come on. 15 now against Josh Carr for swearing. Let's go.
Well, this will be an opportunity for Blake to kick it goal. You heard it, the explanation from umpire Bozzo, the free kick, and then the reason for the 50.
No, I didn't think so. Mark's here.
So Jason Blake with an opportunity from just inside 50.
Line Mark's here.
Just to put any faint hope the Dockers had to bed.
Guys, okay, you got the mark. It's right here in line.
He's had the match-up most of the day on Gilmore, and coming in for his 13th disposal from 48 metres. Pretty good kick, swinging back, and the Saints are home at the Dome. Margin out to 41 points.
They are home. They are home. If there's any doubt, it's over now. That's what the free kick was for. That knee in the back, as moderate as it was. And then the 50 for the swearing, which brings him in range and all over Red Rover.
It's a glum scene in the visitors' box. Josh Carr's cussedness, which can be an admirable part of his football contribution, sometimes gets the better of him. Saints home at the Dome. It's all over Red Rover. St Kilda, the name of the game. and other assorted cliches as the Dockers try and work it forward a little forlornly and aimlessly. Del Santo can go wide where Burse is the only man standing, and the bounce is not unfavourable. Raf Clark calling for it. Burse will run for him, but he'll look for another option. And he decides on the corridor option, and Voss bringing it to Montagna under pressure. Well played, head down, Lenny Hayes as ever. Eyes never leaving the ball. He has been in the heart of it all day. And look at Revolt's desperation and courage as Hayes quickly gives it off, and Fiora almost within range for him, but deciding against it. Revolt missing the mark. Rare lapse. Solomon, Black.
Nowhere to go here.
He's a lovely kick of the ball, but he's just overshot the target. And Sam Fisher has it on a string.
He can play, Sam Fisher.
Del Santo having to use all his evasive skills. Now Graham goes for Gehrig, trying to get him another one. Hasn't been able to find it in this last quarter. Saints by 41 points, more than half the final term gone.
St Kilda to come, the Crows and then the Tigers at the MCG.
The Eagles next week.
Sorry, the Eagles. Confusing my birds. Baker out of the pack, he snaps and goals! Stephen Baker kicks St Kilda's 19th goal. And, well, there's a lot of Saints players getting across to give him a tap on the head. Gee, it was a great snap. And brings a smile to his face.
Stephen Baker scoring a goal, and amidst the celebration, Warnock and McManus and, of course, goes without saying, Josh Carr get in his ear. Perhaps remind him of earlier events and events that might lie ahead. Revolt for the Saints. Good ball in Fiora's direction. Ooh, another big fly. He is spring-heeled. Saints winning the ball, and more bad news for the Dockers. Grover's down for the second time today. Lee Fisher to Fiora on the wrong side. Kicks well. Oh, Xavier Clark. Good mark. Eyes on the high curling ball as Grover picks himself up. Clark will line them up.
Well, this is the best game I've seen the Saints play all year. They have been magnificent in the way that they've gone about this game. Really sets them up for the last couple of weeks. They've played as a team. They've stuck to the structures. They've won around the middle of the ground, provided great run off half back, and their forward line has functioned very efficiently today.
The X-Man to give the Saints their highest score of the season. He makes them close. It is, in fact, a point is enough. 19-12, 126. The game is well won. The Dockers season is coming to a halt.
Johnson off to Josh Carr, now Black. Kick towards half forward, and over the back of the pack, Grover's up and running, which is good news, but he's outpointed on this occasion by Fiora. Montagna chopped off though by Bell. He'll come back, I think.
Down back here.
So just nothing going right for the Dockers this afternoon. Free kick to Montagna at half back. Margin 48 points and even 8 goals. Burse making the most of his opportunity in the senior side. Kick low and hard towards Voss. He gathers, but he's immediately tackled, going nowhere, and the umpire calls for it.
Guys, never dived on it. Picked up as he went to ground.
Brett Voss, useful contribution this afternoon. And again, a lot of players around the football. Thornton and Voss again fight for it. It's not coming out. So another bounce, 60 metres from St Kilda's goal. 7.5 minutes left in the match. Can Fraser Gehrig? Baker's involved with McManus. And put on a bear hug. Now what's the umpire doing? Free kick to Baker.
Thanks, Josh.
That was quite comical how he won that free kick.
Come on, Sean. Come on, mate.
Comical.
McManus is not happy. We're just going to see what happens after Baker kicks this. Because McManus is fired up. You can see it in his eyes there. He doesn't do anything. He turns and kicks. The Baker kick is marked by Warnock. 30 metres or 25 metres at least from his own defensive goal.
Finding Solomon just. And now Gilmore. Promising young player. Pace to burn. Good big body on him too. Well played, Sam Fisher on Pavlich. Pavlich still lurking. Still there. Crowley too. High swinger. Did well. McFarlane got through his fingers. Push in the back. It's against Peak. It will go to Burse. It's the 53rd free kick of the day. There were 51 awarded in last night's match at the MCG. So clearly the umpire's dishing them out. It will be argued, no doubt, that there's been no change of philosophy, but it's impossible to believe that suddenly there are 40% more free kicks.
Well, look,
in 2 games than there are in other games.
Probably the case, but I thought in this particular game they needed to get the ascendancy early, make a statement on the game of what they were going to handle and what they weren't. And I think generally they've umpired pretty well today. They've made a couple of mistakes, but generally been very good.
I agree, not arguing otherwise. I think it's actually good for the game, particularly when the ball player is encouraged. Del Santo, lovely kick, just didn't quite have the weight to reach Milne. So a throw in. The game petering out now. St Kilda by 48 points. In early evening they're going to be in the 8, but whether they stay there at the completion of round 20 will depend on what happens at the Gabba tonight, where Brisbane host a recent nemesis in Sydney. Keep our eye on this though for the time being. Hayden has tried hard down the back for Fremantle, but all they're doing at the moment is defending. Gilbert and Revolt there. Gilbert did it well. Baker giving it off. Del Santo, ever dangerous with that left foot. Here's the G-Train. He's got it. No, he's given it away. He's worth travelling a long way by train or anything else to see is Fraser Gehrig, particularly in the form he's been in today with 8 goals.
Dockers work it out of defence. Hayden, couple of bounces through the back of the centre square. Can he set something up for the Dockers? Out comes McFarlane now up forward on a long lead. And he marks. There's Pavlich leading for him. Kick in Matthew Pavlich's direction. Oh, bounce just in front of him. I think that about sums the Dockers' day up. Now the numbers with the Saints. Del Santo and Baker share it. Now Montagna gets involved. Handball, a wild-looking handball, but it eventually got to Burse, who ducked ahead. Well tackled by Carr, and good umpiring decision. And Josh Carr will kick from 35 metres.
They prefer the set shots to a kick under pressure.
Good umpiring this. There's Burse just putting the head down and not disposing of the ball correctly. So Josh Carr, the chance to kick a belated goal for the Dockers. Very even first half. St Kilda leading by 14 points at the long break, but 6 goals to 3 in the 3rd quarter blew the game open. Carr kicks a goal for Fremantle. Margin back to 7 goals.
And who better to bait Josh Carr with than Stephen Milne?
And Stephen Baker still involved.
Well, it's been obvious ever since that incident did happen that the Fremantle players have been after Baker just that little bit more.
The margin back to 42, but it's more than enough for the Saints, who have had a very good day. Bell was taken high. Another free kick. Count reaches 56. Josh Carr to Black to Peak. That's a poor kick, but he'll get a result here. Cook. Now they've lost it. Lee Fisher, Montagna. Good effort by Cook. Milne sold the dummy well. Low probing kick for Gehrig. Well, I thought we might have seen the blind turn again. Xavier Clark got it out. Solomon. Bell. Wouldn't bounce for Johnson. Ball. Milne covering a lot of ground. How will it bounce for Fraser? Not right. Solomon. Gehrig still there. Has 8. Can he get a 9th? No, he's wanting to lay the shepherd for Lee Fisher and Burse. Clever little left footer. Oh, with the flight, Del Santo. Dockers hold up. Heath Black. Fremantle free kick advantage called, and really this game is like a balloon out of which all of the air has subsided.
Thornton off to Gilmore. Handball. Tarrant back to Gilmore. Kick inside attacking 50, and Pavlich takes the mark 40 from goal.
It may have, but for St Kilda's point of view, they need to finish this game off strongly. Percentage plays an enormous factor at the end of this year in the positions on the ladder, so they can't afford another 2 or 3 goals kicked in the late in this game. They need to kick the 2 or 3 goals.
So Matthew Pavlich this afternoon coming in for goal number 3 from 45 metres. Kick looks pretty good. He's kicked his 3rd. So the Dockers with the last couple of goals, and the margin back to 36 points.
Well, as we mentioned, St Kilda need to be able to play this game out strongly. There may be only be a couple of minutes left, but in terms of the bigger picture of the season, it counts for a lot.
The heir apparent, Mark Harvey, presiding over his 2nd defeat from 5 games as the head coach of Fremantle. Matthew Pavlich's 3rd takes him to 65 for the year, level with Jonathan Brown. Good mark by Johnson. Giving to Solomon. And kicking well for Carr. St Kilda fans will love that. They'll love it even more if Luke Ball could finish. Or Gehrig could mark. Neither of these things happen. Michael Johnson comes away with it and kicks long and well to Murphy, who goes for Tarrant, who was handed in the back or handed over the shoulder by Ralph Clark. Tarrant's ball. Grim old day for him. 7 disposals, 4 of them kicks, none of them goals. Hazelby kicks well here, and that's a free kick to McFarlane. There's a mark anyway.
Thanks, Sam. I'll lean it back, mate.
And Luke McFarlane, who started on revolt but has had 2 or 3 different roles. He's had to have a crack at Gehrig. Now he's gone forward.
The umpire
Should kick a goal.
just mentioning to Sam Fisher, although McFarlane took the mark, I paid the free kick anyway, he said. I'm sure Sam would have loved to have heard that.
59th free kick for the day, the most in a game this year. Luke McFarlane kicks the goal.
They pick another one back, Fremantle. Finishing out the game strongly. All a little too late. The result already decided.
Well, Ross Lyon will be very happy with these teams' performance, particularly in the 3rd quarter. They really played some wonderful football, despite the fact they lost Kaczynski before the match, and Max Hudson limped off with what we think is a quad injury in the 1st quarter. They've been able to cover both those players very effectively, pushing the back to
Just wrapped him up.
Hazelby. No, umpire McBurney says it was okay.
Thanks, Paul.
28 minutes in, final term, crunch match at the Dome, and St Kilda have done what is required. And again, umpire McBurney calls for it.
Thought it was trapped.
St Kilda will find themselves in the 8th. After this match, for one of the rare times in the season, as Pete toe pokes it forward as far as Cook, kicked forward hurriedly by Murphy. Ball bounces just inside attacking 50. Gee, I've been impressed with Raf Clark's second half. He's been fantastic. Good handball to Del Sando, who just overruns it, just a little fumble. It wasn't a great handball. Thought for a moment he was going to pick it up on the half volley, but didn't. And in fact, Raf Clark and Xavier Clark, the way they've attacked the game, have been fantastic signs, I'm sure, for all Saints fans.
Even better, the fact that they're up fit and firing. They haven't seen a lot of that of recent times.
Fiora's been good. Some of their bit part players who are accused of not doing enough have done plenty. And the Saints have scored a crucial win by 30 points over Fremantle to put themselves in the 8th for the first time since round 3.